welcome everybody to Pseudo Short number 10 for May 26th, I believe it is, 2017. I am Kyle Hoagland, and joining me, as always, the Casey to my JoJo, the peanut butter to my jelly, the Skeeter Valentine to my Doug Funny, Mr. Joshua Haddix. How you doing, man?
So yeah, the first few, I feel like I was the better, like KC, your JoJo, I'm peanut butter, your jelly. Then you threw a wrench on the last one.
Well, I feel like both of those can be argued. I don't know if Casey or JoJo really sprung out on a solo album.
I'll give you that, but do you think jelly is better than peanut butter? Don't get me wrong.
Do I think?
I love jelly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm from a Southern family. All right, I'm not gonna knock on the preserves, but
I mean peanut butter, bro. I mean
peanut butter is so versatile. You know, it's hard for peanut butter to take the passenger seat.
Like you can, what can you put jelly on? You know, toast, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Some sort of carbohydrate.
You know, but like peanut butter, yeah, you could literally eat peanut butter out of the jar. You can't really do that with jelly. People might look at you weird.
You can put it on peanuts. You can put it on your nuts. You can do whatever.
Hey, that's what you feel like doing, you know?
Hey, you do you. You do you.
Yep, exactly.
And speaking of doing something, Netflix is doing something next month. And so, or really, I guess we're talking about more or less this actual month. I guess we're talking more about next week. Netflix is returning with a bunch of brand new shows and also a couple of new seasons of shows that everybody loves. And on this short, we are going to be talking about them. And for those who are not familiar with the Pseudo Short, it is basically a much more, sliced down short version of our normal bi-weekly podcast. Is it bi-weekly or bi-monthly? Is it considered bi-weekly?
Bi-monthly. Bi-weekly would be twice a week. So we do not do that.
Is that really? I'll believe it. Whatever it is, it's twice a month, every other week.
Yes, there you go.
We do our normal hour and a half podcast, and then on the other weeks, we give you guys at least a little extra content. Do these little pseudo shorts where we talk about topics that may not justify a full hour and a half to discuss, but at least is something that I think is worth our time to discuss, and to get you guys out there on the social media at Pseudo Nerd Pod on Twitter, and all of our other handles. You can find us at pseudonerdpod.com. It opens up the dialogue a little bit, gets people interested in what we're talking about this week, and also gets people excited for next week's full show. So with that said, we're gonna jump right into it. And I know one of the first ones I wanted to talk about, even though it's already a week that it's been out, but I think it's been long, and I think it's been close enough to the rest of these releases, and it's a pretty notable show, and that is the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And I love me some Ellie Kemper, so I didn't want to leave her off this show. I know. Talking to you earlier. I wouldn't say you're not an avid watcher. I've seen a couple episodes. I haven't been able to get through a whole season of it. My wife watches it. She loves the show. She loves the constant. It just seems like it never ends as far as the jokes. It's just wall to wall, just silliness the whole entire show. Also, for those who don't understand the premise of the show, it's a story of a woman who was part of a cult. They lived in a bunker for the last 15 years of her life. They saved her from the cult, and now she's roaming around New York City with a wide-eyed, enthusiastic, optimistic soul that she is. While everybody else is probably walking around with their broken souls of living in New York their entire life. So yes. It definitely opens up for some very good comedy.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I've watched the first episode like a year ago, which it was already old at that point because, like you said, this is the third season that was just released. I just couldn't get into it, and that's probably because I didn't give it a fair enough chance. I just watched one episode, and I think I just kind of got sidetracked. But I've heard good things about it.
And call me sexist, but I mean, I feel like the first season it just seemed like it was like a goofy girl doing goofy stuff. But I'm just saying, like, Ellie Kemper is literally she's my new crush. Like, I think she is such a beautiful woman, and I guess I just didn't see that a couple of years ago. And now I think I'm actually going to go ahead and give it a shot. And I'm not saying I'm only giving it a shot because I think she's good looking, but it does help a little bit knowing that's the focus. The focus of the role is her, and she's very, very attractive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed her on The Office, which she was Erin, the secretary after Pam.
Yeah, that
wasn't a secretary for what it's worth. But yeah, I always thought she was funny on that show. So.
Yeah, and she is. She's very, very funny. They keep on bringing on new people onto the show. It always seems to be a surprise that they bring them back. They keep on renewing the season because it always seems to be so quiet. Like it's not really discussed much whether or not it's going to be renewed. It's not it always seems to be the last maybe 6 months before it gets released. Then all of a sudden we find out we're getting a new season, so we're never sure if it's canceled or not. But I know Tina Fey is on the show now. And now she was also doing the writing for the show, and she,
oh, wow.
And I know you love yourself some 30 Rock. And she's a fantastic writer on that show.
Yeah, yes, she is. Wow.
So yeah, we have that to look forward to. The next thing we're going to talk about, it's coming out today. I mean, as of this recording, this is coming out Friday, May 26th. Is season 3 of Bloodline, and Haddix, I'm kind of let you take this away. I've seen a handful of episodes, not enough for me to really delve too deep into this, which, by the way, that's copyright of Josh Haddix.
Yeah, delve deep. Yeah.
So I'll let you go ahead and jump in and talk more about that show.
I mean, real quick, the background. It follows a family down in Florida called the Rayburn family. The main guy, excuse me, is God. Who's the dad from Friday Night Lights? What's his name? Oh my God, I just drew a blank. Yeah, you're look it up for me there real quick.
I gotcha. Keep going. I'll give you two.
So anyway, it follows the Rayburn family. He's kind of the patriarch of the family. He's not the oldest or anything like that, but the rest of his family kind of looks up to him. They're kind of a well-liked family. They run like an inn down there type of thing. But anyway, basically the whole show is kind of how this really well-liked family that, he's like a sheriff and all that, has these dark secrets. The past 2 seasons have kind of been you getting to find out about these secrets from when they were young to the secrets they're keeping now. The one guy kills his brother on accident, stuff like that. And this is the 3rd and final season. They came out and said that they're done after this. So it does end. The guy, whose name you're looking up, did you find it, by the way?
I mean, I know so little about this show, I'm not even sure. Do you know what the name of the character is?
I did until you just asked me. He's like
Riggins?
the main guy. No.
The main guy is Kyle Chandler. That's the actor.
Yeah, him. Yeah, him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler, whatever.
For some reason, when you kept mentioning the father, I kept thinking he was not the main character. But the main character is Eric Taylor. That's played by Kyle Chandler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So him. He was interviewed on a show and basically said that it's he likes the ending. It's going to be kind of a dark season, which they kind of all are because it's some very heavy secrets, a lot of killing and stuff going on. The brother who's died, son's in it, and it's going to kind of revolve around him. So I don't know a whole lot about the season, obviously, because it's not out yet. But it has been a pretty good first 2 seasons.
So as far as a show that's ending on 3 seasons, does it seem like that's the right amount? Do you wish, now that you know
yes.
that's the final season, do you think it okay, you wish they could have done more with it, or do you think this is the right amount of content for this show?
I think it's a good amount because the problem with this type of show is it's about this one big secret, right? So once you get past that, that's when the show kind of becomes bad. We've all seen those shows that have lasted way too long because they're real popular, but the latter seasons aren't as good because you kind of run out of material. So this really needed a finite amount of seasons for you to do it properly, and I think 3's good because the first one was really good, the second one was good. They left you with a lot of cliffhangers at the end of season 2, and if they wrap all those up and kind of give you a full round story here, I think it's going to be good. So yeah, I think 3 seasons is a good amount.
And I think we'll talk about a show later on that I think we're going to have that discussion as well about what's the sweet spot with seasons. But until then, the next thing we're going to talk about, it's actually a Netflix original movie called War Machine. It's got a pretty loaded cast. You have Brad Pitt. You have Anthony Hayes, Topher Grace, Tilda Swinton.
Topher Grace, known as his popular role as Venom in Spider-Man 3. So,
or that '70s show, but okay, we'll go with that fabled movie that a lot of people like to pretend never happened. Anthony Michael Hall.
There's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I said the whole plot behind it is that Brad Pitt plays General Glenn McMahon. Not to be confused with the McMahon Helmsley era, but he's what you have here as far as the plot is that he's sent to Afghanistan to bring the war to an end, but finds himself the one under attack.
From what I've read, it seems kind of a one of those dry comedies. I think he's kind of one of these over the top generals who thinks he's just like really good at his job type of thing. I don't know a whole lot about it, and because it's not out yet.
You just told me it's a. So this is a comedy, actually. Then at first looking at all this, it seemed like this would be like, will this be Brad Pitt's Oscar-worthy performance?
I actually, in looking this up, I feel like it's gotten a lot of bad reviews. I think one of the things that I read was this type of movie is kind of written for like a John Goodman instead of a Brad Pitt, because it's just kind of like a funny character. He kind of always has his eyebrow up and the other eye squinted, and it's like an old school general in the new era, which just doesn't fit. So it's a comedy, but it's not, from what I gather, it's not a comedy. So his last name is McMahon,
and he raises the people's eyebrow. I mean, did WWE actually create this film?
Maybe secretly. Maybe they're secretly behind it. But I don't know if I'll watch it, but I haven't heard great things. Like I said, I think it's like a comedy, I don't want to say dark comedy, but a dry comedy that I could very well see myself watching and like not laughing at anything.
The way you describe it, it almost sounds like it's a comedy, but not like a silly comedy. It almost seems like you have to kind of, I guess, devote your time in paying attention, kind of like a Snatch or a Fight Club. Where even though Fight Club's not really a comedy, but there are some funny moments to it. Just like Snatch, there's some serious stuff and there's some funny things. I'll be interested in it because I've always liked those kind of movies. I'll probably at least give it a go. I do like myself some Tilda Swinton as well. But yeah, it seems like, at the very least, it seems like they've got a good cast, or at least they dropped a lot of money, to get everybody.
For a Netflix original. This is a Netflix show with all these people in it. So yeah, that's our Netflix movie.
It's a Netflix original that costs a lot of money to cast, and it wasn't directed or created by Adam Sandler.
Exactly.
So next thing we have on here is one of the documentaries. One of the things Netflix loves to throw out there are the documentaries. I, for one, do enjoy the documentaries on the show. It's always a nice change of pace. This one's called Joshua, Teenager versus Superpower, which is a documentary about the life of Joshua Wong. This kind of has to do with Hong Kong and the Hong Kong Occupy movement in 2014. This kid rallies the youth in dissent against the government or the Chinese Communist Party. Now, I will say that though I say that I'm big into documentaries, and it seems like it got pretty good reviews at the Sundance Film Festival, which, take that for what it is. There are a lot of good movies that come from that. There's also a lot of movies that people rave about that really, maybe you had to be there for the moment of seeing it, and maybe it kind of dries up afterwards. But I don't know about you. I feel like if I wander into it, maybe I'll watch it, but I don't know if I'd have the patience.
Yeah, I'm not a big documentary guy. It could be amazing for all I know. I just don't get into documentaries. So there is a very, very slim chance that I will watch this. Not that means it's not good, but
I watched a lot of the 30 for 30s that ESPN puts out. They put on Netflix. Those are always interesting. Like, I really enjoyed the I Hate Christian Laettner documentary, and I always felt like sports always is grounds for great drama and story. Anyways, but no, I think maybe I'll give it a go. Now that I think more about it, I feel like we're giving this a bad if we gave it enough time, if we gave it the respect of putting it on our show, I feel I at least owe it to see how it is.
It could be amazing. And there's probably I've heard a lot of great things about documentaries on Netflix. I'm just not a documentary guy, so that doesn't mean that it's not good at all. So take that for what it's. I'm sure if you like documentaries, you'll like it. Put it that way.
I gotcha. And then that's all going to happen in this Friday or today. And then the following Tuesday, we've got even more things coming out. And like I said before, we were talking about with Bloodline, with Season 3 feeling like that might be the sweet spot. I feel like this might be a little bit of a, I guess, a defining moment for House of Cards, which is coming out with their 5th season on Tuesday. And I've seen all 4 seasons. I have loved every single season. I will admit, I think it is starting to, I wouldn't say get less interesting, but I do feel like how much further can the show go with the narrative that it's on right now. I know that at this point, Frank Underwood and his wife are going to run together as on the ticket for president and vice president, which obviously is unheard of. So that'll be very interesting, and it really does seem like the more they speak and kind of collude with each other, you definitely see the evil politician in both of them that come out in full force. They're kind of at this point, a lot of people are questioning their motives, and they're kind of saying, "Well, screw them. We're going to do it anyways because the only people that are important in this world are the two of them." So it's going to be very interesting. I definitely suggest Haddix catching up and getting ready for Season 5. But I will say Season 5 is, I think, right now going to have... This is going to be the crossroads. I really do, for the show.
Oh, no, that's a Britney Spears movie, dude.
It's also a Bone Thugs and Harmony song.
To your point, though, I thought the first season was really good, and I thought the second season was really good. I think why I am not caught up was I got 4 or 5 episodes into Season 3, and not that it was bad, it just didn't catch my attention like the first 2 seasons did. Kind of one of those.
It seemed like once he got what he wanted, now it's a show about like him being the president, which I feel like maybe if they concentrated more on the way he kind of swindled his way into the presidency. Yeah. That was honestly the interesting narrative for the show. And then now that this is Season 5, so this is going to be his third season as the president. I think it does get a little, I wouldn't say overplayed or boring, but I do feel like I'm very interested to see how. I'm not excited. I'm more intrigued with where they're going to go with the show.
I'm with you. Yep.
And then after House of Cards, we have F is for Family, Season 2. It was created and written by Bill Burr, also with Michael Price, who is a co-writer and producer for The Simpsons. And I don't, like I said, me, Bill Burr, I think is the best comic alive right now, and I love seeing a cartoon adaptation of his comedy because I can see Bill Burr in these shows, like his mannerisms, the way he, obviously a lot of this has to come from his own childhood and his upbringing, and the way he makes the father come alive, because I'm pretty sure the father in this is kind of a rough idea of kind of how he grew up, so he's kind of playing his own dad. Yeah, and so far it's been amazing. It was a very short first season. I think Netflix was maybe a little bit leery about it. This is kind of Bill Burr's first real go at doing a show like this, and Netflix has always been very, very good with Bill Burr, putting his specials on there. And, they have a very good relationship with each other. So I think they said, we'll give you 6 episodes and see how it goes. It has gotten great reviews overall on Netflix. I'm sure a lot of that just has to do with the fact that people are just huge Bill Burr shippers. But at the same time, the show itself is actually very good. And now they're giving him 10 more episodes coming up. And for those who don't understand the show, it takes place, I think, in the early 70s. So it's basically it's a 70s sitcom cartoon of a suburban family in Boston. in like the suburbs of Boston, and just like an everyman type of thing. It almost kind of reminds me of like a Married with Children, but
yeah.
But the kids are all psycho in some way, shape, or form. One of them's name is Bill, which I thought was funny that he had like the middle kid who's kind of like the quiet, shy guy is Bill. And then he has like a spazzo younger sister, and then the oldest brother is the rebellious teenager. But I don't know what your thoughts on the show, but I really can't wait.
I never finished season 1, and again, not because I didn't like it. Just kind of one of those things I just never did. But I do love Bill Burr. I think Bill Burr is hilarious, and I do agree with you. You can obviously it's his voice, but you just see, even though he's playing his dad, and the cartoon is not of him, you just picture him saying all that stuff, right. Which makes me laugh. It kind of makes me wish that he had real life kids so he could tell stories.
Well, he does have a baby girl, but I mean she's like 3 months old.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, that'll be interesting. So we're getting towards the end. We're getting towards the end of this. But I know that you had on here Silver. I have always have a hard time saying her name. Sarah Silverman. A Speck of Dust. It's her new Comedy Central or comedy special on Netflix. I will say the last time I saw her stand up was I think Jesus is Magic, and I don't know if that was the last one she ever did, but that was such a long time ago. I feel like she had to have done a special since then, which I thought was funny. She's definitely a very controversial person, very political, and I'm very curious to see if she sticks with that, especially with the turmoil of politics going on now. But I didn't get to see the trailer. I guess I'll let you kind of like jump on that more. But because you mentioned something about a breath mint, so I'll let you jump on that.
So I'm not a huge Sarah Silverman fan. I mean, I don't hate her or anything, but I don't necessarily just watch it because she's in it.
You just hate women comedians. Come on, just do it.
Well, I mean, some of them are very funny. I do like stand-up comedy, though, and I do like this transition that seems to be happening of these specials going to Netflix, mainly because I can watch them. But, instead of the Fair HBO enough. Stuff, you know what I mean, where you have to have HBO or something.
Without having to steal it from somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. But the trailer literally says nothing about her, like, show. Like, it doesn't give you any, like, clips from the show or anything like that. It's I think, maybe 2 minutes. And it starts off by her talking about, different comedians have their pre-show rituals. Some smoke weed, some do this, some do that. And like the whole time she's like kind of walking to stage. And like right towards the end, she goes, I only have one pre-show ritual. It's one breath mint. And she like grabs it and she goes, and I put it in my asshole. And walks out onto the thing.
I mean,
and it was
who doesn't?
It was
do
just that? It was just so random, and so it just makes you laugh like when you watch it. And you still need to watch it because she obviously delivers it a lot better than I do. But
well, I would hope so. If you were the best delivery of that, I think that maybe she might need to rethink her.
Well,
her
no,
profession.
that's true. But I might tune into it just because of that. Although, to your point of what you said, I'm not a huge fan of the political in stand-up comedy because I just don't care. Like, I'd rather listen to something just completely random, like somebody tells stories or jokes. You know what I mean? So
sure.
If it's too much of that, I probably won't watch it. But I do love me some stand-up comedians. So.
Yep, that's one of the main reasons why I have Netflix as well. I'm always looking forward to the new stand-ups. So we're about to wrap up here, but we have one last thing, and that is not only May, but there's also some new things that's coming out in June. I also heard that they're getting rid of Spinal Tap. They're taking it off Netflix starting in June. So if you want to watch that before it goes away, make sure you do it before the end of May. But Haddix, what is something you're looking forward to that we haven't talked about that might be happening in June?
On the stand-up comedy note, Chris D'Elia, who was the first time I saw him was on a TV show Whitney that came out. He was on an episode of, oh my god, I can't remember that show on. What was that show on Comedy Central with the three friends that just got high all the time?
Oh, Workaholics. He was like on an episode, real funny in that. His newest stand-up's coming to Netflix in June. I've been listening to his podcast. It's only like 17 episodes in. I just think he's a funny guy. Looking forward to that. And for me, I'm also kind of on the comedy side of it too. I've been told nothing but great reviews about their Broadway show, Oh Hello, which is John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. But now they're having the show. They're doing like their adaptation of it filmed on Netflix for their 2-man act. And I've just been told it's like one of the most cringeworthy, weird, funny shows in years. And I'm all about that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I love John Mulaney. I think he's my second favorite comedian behind Bill Burr at this point. And that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. But P&Pers out there, let us know what you're looking forward to on Netflix, or if there's something that we missed, maybe something that we did talk about that you want to drop your knowledge on. You can hit us up on Twitter at Pseudo Nerd Pod. You can find us, all of our handles, all of our social media whoring at pseudonerdpod.com. You can also find me every once in a while. Haddix will pop in his sexy voice on the Pseudo Nerd stream. You can find us doing that on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on Beam. That is from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And I think that's, for the most part, going to do it this time around. What the heck are we talking about next week? Do we make up our minds about what we're doing next week?
Yeah, next week is, what's the date next week? It'll be the 2nd, right?
It'll be Friday the 2nd.
We are previewing the NBA Finals.
Oh, yeah, because I think it starts June 1st.
Yeah, pending the Cavs make it. If the Cavs don't make it, it might be a sore subject for us, but we'll see. That's
I would like to think that they
now.
do. Right now, the Cavs are looking like a JV team, and I don't know why. I don't know if they're just trying to coast it as hard as possible, but we hope that they pick it up and deliver it for the city of Cleveland. But speaking of which, from the Great Lakes to the Golden Gate, he's Josh Haddix, and I'm Kyle Hoagland. We will see you guys next time.
Have a good Friday.